Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into a new episode Batter Up Podcast, sponsored by the Dugout Node here on the Sports Insanity Network. Top of the lineup for you, Danny Boy Reginald, the old ops guy, Mike Rifke. With you, gentlemen, good morning. How are you?
I'm curious, how is the top of the order and my batting second?
Well, we know you're a speedster out there, and we can play different with you, hit and run. The little thing you can bunt.
I don't know if I can bend down that far to get the bat to level.
I mean, we can rotate it however you want.
I know. It just sounds a nice thing to make fun about.
I listen. I used to run like Ricky. I know what it used to be like.
Good morning, peeps. Welcome into Sunday morning's chat. I'm doing good. Have to have fun. Dan, what's up with you?
Yankees 3-0. Start the season. They get a rare Sunday off, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Thank you. I hate the beginning of a schedule for this reason. There's no reason a team should be off on a Sunday.
Like
in the first week.
And let's be real. Like if that's the case, we should start the season on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that this way, okay, Thursday is the premier opening game. And then Friday's the opening day. And then you have baseball all weekend. Every team plays on Sunday. That's how it should be. Every team should play on Sunday. Every team should play on Memorial Day. Every team should play on 4th of July. But look, I don't make the schedules. So I just complain about them.
We could just criticize the people who do.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But I can't complain too much. Yankees did get the sweep of the Giants. Of course, we'll get to that. And it's cool to watch.
Yeah, the Yankees swept the Giants. The Mets go for the sweep of the Pirates today. We got baseball galore. Also, listen, I know I made a rundown, but we'll jump around because Dan, you brought up the Yankees, so let's just jump into the Netflix game because
Might as well, yeah.
Oh my God! Listen, there are not many things great on that Netflix broadcast, guys.
I mean, for one thing, the announcers weren't that good. For one thing,
They were, I mean, yeah, they knew a little bit about baseball, but they were not your traditional crew.
Yeah.
But it was even just the things outside of the game. Like, listen, no disrespect to Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's not a baseball player.
No. Look, just because he knows the sport, just because he knows how it works, it's very rare that we find, football athletes that also know baseball and know it very well, like Jameis Winston. But like he brought absolutely nothing to the broadcast. Nothing at all. I didn't like that. I didn't like how they kept cutting away the score bug, which confused so many fans because a lot of fans were wondering. I know Bill had talked about he didn't know that it was the ninth inning. He thought it was like the seventh inning and stuff at one point in the game. I also complained about how when they were interview the players, they would take away the score, but I didn't know what count it was, so I couldn't keep track of balls and strikes, which is outrageous. Um, and then overall, like they focus too much on the aesthetics of the broadcast rather than the game. And anyone that watches baseball on a regular basis knows that baseball fans don't care about the aesthetics of a broadcast. They care about the game. Show the game.
I feel like this is becoming a thing in a lot of sports, Mark, and maybe you could go with this since you were more of an operations guy, in a minor league stadium. But the player and managerial interviews during a game, to me, I can do without them. Like it's cool we can get an inside look at it, but at the same time, it kind of does ruin the flow of the game from a viewer's perspective because it does cut away from a count or hey, we're more focused on this than the actual broadcast.
And you're not wrong. They ended up starting years ago, brought in the time to talk to the manager to try to get fans more interactive with what's going on so they can get a better look at what's in the manager's mind. Now you're doing manager play. Baseball isn't a game where you stop an interview in the middle of an inning. It does not have a stoppage point like this. And for the managers to be taking their eyes off the game, whether it be 1 second or half a minute, and you miss something, it's a problem. And then when you're concentrating on talking about how this guy, your eyes are not on the game. So I agree with Mike. The flow of the game gets interrupted. Dan?
The flow of the game gets interrupted. They interviewed Jazz, I believe, and usually when he gets interviewed, he kind of gets distracted. It's happened before. Um, but I mean of course that in itself is the least of my concerns because I know the players are going to be focused. Um, but still, it's just like it's just incredibly unnecessary. Like, like I don't remember them interviewing basketball players when they're on the court dribbling and running and trying to play defense. Like, it doesn't exist in other sports. So why
Mm-hmm.
have it exist in baseball?
Yeah, and it's becoming a thing on every sort of national broadcast. So it's idiotic at times, and but the Netflix broadcast not good. The next day, NBC Peacock,
Mm.
okay, a little bit better.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Matt Vasgersian. Like,
Yes, Matt Excursion is
he's a
so good.
workhorse. How you go from West Coast to East Coast in less than 24 hours is beyond me. Like,
But by the
you
way, with all the problems at TSA, and he's able to
know.
do
Yeah.
that.
Like, shout out to him. Shout out to him. Calling both New York wins. How about
Oh,
that? You know?
but NBC they had a nice score bug. That
Mm,
they kept the game flowing. Vescursion, Al Leiter, and Neil Walker did the Mets and the Pirates.
yeah. What do you think about this new format NBC's trying, where it's going to be a local guy supporting whatever team or whatever joining the play-by-play announcer instead of having a broadcasting team all season?
I kind of like it because it gives them it gives the viewer who's not used to a certain team more of an insight into that team.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I
You
feel
know,
like
like like we're
yeah.
on the East Coast, we don't get to watch. I mean, you know, the Giants, for example, we don't get to see the Giants. So if they're on Peacock, oh hey, this guy's having a really good year. What's making it happen?
Yeah.
And having Mike Krukow or Dwayne Kuiper or whoever it's going to be explain it to me. Okay, cool. I think it gives the viewer the the viewer a different view into a team they may not get to see
Yeah.
as often. So I kind of like the idea.
Yeah. I kind of feel with Neil Walker. I don't know if Mark feels the same way. You can kind of go both ways. You can go Pirates or you can go Mets. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Well, Neil Walker, by the way, also Neil Walker was a Mets legend.
Yeah.
as
Well,
well.
exactly my point.
Yeah, but
You know?
he played both sides of it. So um, I also like the fact that it was kind of like a little bit like Gary Keith and Ron, where Neil Walker gives you the hitter perspective and Al Leiter gave you more of a pitching perspective, as opposed to Neil Walker trying to give you a pitching perspective when he wasn't the pitcher.
Yeah.
And that's not, I mean, anybody can go out and talk baseball. No, don't get me wrong. The three of us do a very good job. But there are certain positions that you play that you're not used to playing or never have played that you should not be making comments on because you don't know exactly what's going through the mind of that player at that moment.
Unless you're O'Neill Cruz and you drop that ball in the sun.
Oh, what one of the worst days we'll get into the Mets. One of these worst days for a center fielder in a long time.
Oh yeah. So,
God.
uh, so national broadcasts.
Mhm.
Listen, I'm going to say that. I'll say this. I think NBC did a much better job in one game than ESPN has done in the last number of years.
I was very happy with the announcing. So,
Yeah,
except, I mean, my notions for Netflix went said, but this was great.
yeah. So that, that's our thoughts so far on the broadcasts. Netflix stunk. NBC, well done. I believe NBC's got Sunday night baseball tonight. Guardians and the
Yeah,
Mariners.
they also have the Sunday leadoff. The Sunday leadoff, I think
Mm.
that starts this week too, if not next week. Um, yeah, but it's a big year for NBC. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, I mean they the Olympics. Uh, did NBC do the Super Bowl too?
NBC did a lot. Super Bowl,
NBC
they did
Yeah.
did the
the
Super Bowl.
Olympics. They had basketball and baseball. So,
Yeah, so good job, NBC. Shout out 30 Rock. Great show.
mhm, yeah.
All right. So on to some other baseball news. We'll go to the north side of Chicago for this. The Cubs announced extensions for both center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong and second baseman Nico Horner. The deals look like this. Pete Crow Armstrong agreed to a 6 year, $115 million extension, keeping him in Chicago to 2032. Nico Horner also agreed to a 6 year contract, though worth $141 million. That'll also keep him there until 20 into the 2030s. So Mark, the Cubbies lock up really the middle of their infield when you also look at the Dansby Swanson contract.
Yeah. So locking up Horner does solidify that. I like the deal for PCA. I honestly think the Cubs really got away with one here, and I think Armstrong was underpaid. I think he would have gotten a little bit more, but I like the loyalty as he was traded to the Cubs in the big trade with the Mets a long time ago. And now he's going to stay there. And he's turned into everything everybody said he was going to be. So locking him up was smart, but I think Cubs got a little bit of a discount. I think Nico Horner hit it right on the bell. I think that's pretty much what he's worth. And these two young guys are going to be part of this Cubs team that's going to be awake and alive for the next few years. Danny boy?
I mean, look, Horner's been around for about 7 years now, right? And last year had certainly one of his better seasons. Um, and of course, is a tremendous second baseman, and of course, I think that this makes him the fourth highest ever paid second baseman um, in MLB history. So it's a well-deserved contract. And then of course, PCA is a hitting and power machine for the Cubs. I mean, look, the bottom line is you lock up your own. and you want to stay good, remain consistent, and this is how you do it. There's reasons why that, teams like the Atlanta Braves, even though the Atlanta Braves, unfortunately, have been hit by too much of the injury bug. There are reasons why, they're so good. It's because, they develop well and they lock their own. The Cubs sort of remind me of that now, where they have young players that they don't allow them to sniff free agency, even if it's coming to them, you know?
Yeah, and they buy out the arbitration years on PCA. That's why they're able to get that discount to Mark's point. Dan, to your question, Nico Horner came up in 2019 for
Yeah, so
20
about seven
games.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, look, the Cubs have a core of Horner, PCA, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson. And if you want to even go Seiya Suzuki into that, throw that into the mix.
Yeah, like you
I,
keep people together, which is very important.
yeah,
Joda signed, so you got him at the helm.
yeah. You got the pitching. You got the. They've got a core that they're going to keep together for the next couple of years. The Cubs' window right
Mhm.
now is if the Dodgers didn't exist, the Cubs' window is wide open.
Agreed.
Because if you look at the spectrum of the National League, throw the Dodgers to the side for a second. The Phillies window might be closing. We don't know about the Braves just based on the fact of last year there were so many injuries. You have the Mets, you have the Padres, and you have the Diamondbacks. I mean, those are kind of the teams the Cubs are going to have to compete with. If you want to throw the Brewers in there, you can throw the Brewers in there. And for teams like the Reds and the Pirates, hey, I'm not mentioning you in this because I want you to show me that you're here. I want to hear about how great this guy is or that guy's going to be. You have to show us at this point. So the Cubs window, it's very much open, but we all know that the final boss is the Los Angeles Dodgers of Brooklyn, who also don't play today because they beat up the Diamondbacks. Comes full circle, guys.
Yeah.
Not having
Usually does.
games on Sunday. Oh, man. So, Cubs lock up PCA. They lock up Nico Horner. They also have Dansby Swanson, as mentioned before. All right. So, on to a interesting topic that I heard going around. I thought it was on social media. It was also on television. So, three pitchers, starting pitchers from the WBC US team: Logan Webb, Matthew Boyd, and some guy named Paul Skeens who couldn't even get out of the first inning. All struggled in their first start.
Yeah.
Do we think it had anything to do with the routine because of the WBC, or
No,
is it just like,
no.
hey, bad days?
Everyone, they should all be fine. I don't know why we're worried about these pitchers after one game. I mean, how many times has CC Sabathia come out on the opening day and absolutely shit the bed? I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times because he's a Hall of Famer. So no, they're gonna be fine. I'm not really particularly worried about Paul Skeens. I know the Mets bats got to him, and I know his defense let him down, but no, like it's one game, and all that WBC stuff shouldn't have messed up any type of rhythm. Like I don't think that's how it works. So that's I don't know, Mark, but like I feel like it's not necessarily the problem. It's just a bad bad opening day. And sometimes, starting the season, it could be rusty a little bit. And again, I know they played, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have a good opening day. They're not in mid-season form.
Not to disagree with my PIC, but I'm going to. Having let's use Skeens as the main because we haven't seen McLean. We'll see him today. Uh, Skeens threw better than 70 pitches in the WBC. Um, when you're talking spring training, you don't hear the number 70 at all for your starting pitchers. 45, 50, yeah, that's where you play with. Am I saying him throwing 70 pitches screwed him up coming back to play for the Mets? I think it might have had something to do with his timing, but overall I think timing is an issue. So yeah, there's something. So that's where my disagreement with Dan is that when you saw Skeens out there was nothing, there was no consistency. No ball was in the same spot twice. Nothing reached. Everything was, out of the zone. Can you have a bad day? Absolutely. Can everything go wrong? You have the yips? Absolutely. Does that happen to a Paul Skeens? Not that often. Every New Yorker should have went and bought a lotto ticket because that doesn't happen. Mike?
I understand both sides of this because the WBC to a degree could throw you rhythm wise off. But at the same time, these are big league pitchers. They're bound to have an off day. The thing for me, it's not even schemes that I'm not even going to just look at the totality because if O'Neill Cruz makes one of the two plays, it's a different first inning. It's a whole different concept.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the timing of the WBC, if we combine it, because to your point, Mark, you brought up spring training, and guys aren't throwing 75 pitches. That doesn't happen really until you're maybe second start of the season. Because usually they want to limit you to about, or if you're not there by the back half of spring training, whatever it is. So I think this kind of goes into the argument of, well, maybe we can move the timing of the WBC if people want to do that. But to me, like, listen, Matthew Boyd had a bad game at Wrigley. Wind blows out, you could give up 8 runs, and how quickly of Wrigley. Logan Webb got jumped by the Yankees. The Yankees have a pretty decent offense. Paul Skeens got beaten by the Mets. We all know the Mets are winning the World Series this year. So it's all one and the same. But no, I just think it's the timing of it. I'm more of a coincidence guy that it happened to these 3 guys.
Yeah. By the way, Major League Baseball has started thinking about moving it to during the season. Of course, these are just talks. That we don't know exactly at the end of the day what they want to do. Um, and if they do move WBC to like the All-Star break or whenever, like it's a better call because, like I said, mid-season form. I'd much rather see players in mid-season form than ramping up during spring training that quick. But I just can't. Honestly, I just really can't take that and use it as an excuse as to why
Right.
you had a bad start. Like, no, like you had a bad start, the Mets got to you, and your defense let you down. Like, I feel like if the Pirates defense, if they make plays, you know, I think Paul Skeens can at least get through the first inning and then maybe try to settle in afterwards.
And let's be really blunt here. If it wasn't Paul Skeens, it's a non-fact. It's a non-conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought it was a little weird that 2 other guys who also pitched in it struggled a bit. But yeah, so We'll see what happens. Obviously, with what we're heading towards with Major League Baseball, we'll see what the WBC situation is. All right. Quick shout out. Jason Hayward announced his official retirement this week. World Series champ with the Chicago Cubs. In 2016, played 16 years, 1,575 hits, 186 homers, 730 RBIs, over 100 steals for the Braves, Cardinals, Cubs, Dodgers, Astros, and Padres. I completely forgot Jason Hayward was an Astro for like 5 minutes.
Literally.
Yeah, so.
Look, Jason Hayward, the biggest waste of 16 years in an organized sport.
I disagree.
I watched this
That
guy
was just that.
highly touted as players who are coming up as J.D. Drew, Rick Ankiel, and if you all know these names, they all went the same way. Hayward busted on the scene with another amazing player that year, and I believe that was Steven Strasburg. And we saw what happened to him. They were overused. Strasburg ended up blowing out his arm, and Hayward never
Strasburg won
developed.
a world. That's ridiculous, Mark.
I'm not saying
Strasburg won a World
World
Series.
but he blew out his arm.
Yeah, but he contributed to a World Series team. Like he was a
Both of them
major
did.
content. Like I don't know, Mark. I think that's a bit of a stretch to say that it was a waste of his career.
Touted to be.
What do you say?
They never amounted to what they could have been.
Listen,
but not all careers going to.
How many years did they play in the shop?
Like,
was he total?
Yeah, Hayward's at 16. Strasburg was
what, maybe 10?
Okay, that's 26 years in the shop.
Yeah.
They have 2 World Series.
Are you talking total years? I mean, when?
Well, yeah, we just said total years. 16 for Hayward, and I'm saying 10 for Strasburg.
I'll double check the Strasburg thing in a second. But it's 26 years. They won a couple of rings. Guess what? You know how many years you had in the show, man?
Yeah, but I'm not as talented as these guys. Yeah. I'm not.
Listen, injuries played a part, but listen, they still had great careers.
But Jason Hayward was touted to be such an amazing ball player.
But how many times do we hear that? A guy's touted and he just doesn't have
right,
the career
but then he goes down and whatnot. He has to be able to take the realization from what some analysts think. That's all.
By the way, didn't Jason Hayward hit a grand slam in his first at bat off Carlos Zambrano?
That I can't answer. I do not remember.
I mean, he did it a home
People
run.
If somebody's in the chat,
he did hit a home run.
Yeah, I thought it was a grand slam of Carlos Zambrano.
I don't know. I don't remember if it was a grand slam. It was a home run.
Don't remember at all.
If I'm right, Bill Murphy owes me $50.
In my opinion, Hayward and Strasburg. Let me rephrase that. In my opinion, Strasburg was an amazing talent who was overused and his arm blew out. Yes, he got a ring. Hayward originally came up with the Atlanta Braves, did nothing there. Was moved over. He won a ring with the Cubs. He never amounted to anything after that. I'm sorry. Hayward, to me,
he won 5 Gold Gloves.
Oh, please.
Look, I'm sorry, Mark. Like you cannot tell me, with the great defense he is, with the great power that he is. Yes, he didn't become this magnificent Hall of Fame player that scouts touted him to be. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of scouts tout players to be this big time player, and it never happens. Yeah. A lot of them don't spend 16 seasons on a major league diamond.
Now, if your other argument's going to be he got overshadowed by certain other players during that time, okay. Look at the guy who played first base at the same time he came up, Freddie Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to say Freddie Freeman overshadowed what Jason Hayward could have been, okay, we're okay with that. But to say he won a World Series, he won 5 Gold Gloves, he had a very good beard, and let's not forget what he did in Game 7 of the 2016 World Series, where he gave that speech during the rain delay to and inspire the Cubs to break 100 and whatever year drought to make the city of Chicago relevant outside of hockey.
Funny.
So congratulations, Jason Hayward, on a tremendous career. I'm not hoping this marks another debate. Nobody else retire. Nobody else can retire at this point. Let me double check the Strasburg thing, then we'll move on. By the way, speaking of, how about the young kids who gotten off to some really good starts?
Can we talk about Kevin McGonigal? I mean,
Chase DeLuder and
dude,
Cleveland.
well, all of them. I mean, the loader, he had what, 4 home runs
4 homers
in 3 games or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
and he homered off
incredible.
of really good pitching because it's the Mariners.
Yeah. And then the McGonigal guy, I think he had like 4 hits
4 hits in his
in his major
debut.
league debut, and then kept hitting. He hasn't stopped.
I don't know if you guys saw this on Friday night. Jackson Merrill, the Padres center fielder, robbed him of a home run.
Right.
And then he goes to second base off of a double, I believe. And he's talking to McGonigal, the shortstop for the Tigers. And he goes, I had to rob you. You got to stop hitting, man. You got to stop. By the way, Mark Strasburg, 13 years.
13. Okay.
113 and 62 with a 3.24 ERA.
If I will give Mark this, if Strasburg didn't have the injuries, I think he would be a shoo-in to the Hall of Fame. He was that good.
Right. I don't want to hear Hall of Fame for Jason Hayward or
they're not Hall of Fame.
for about 50 or more years.
No,
they're not Hall.
He doesn't have those numbers, but we could agree with that. But to say that he was a waste of a career is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, a waste of career. I mean, come on. Like,
no.
We Mark is guys who've known random Mets. Some of those guys were wastes.
Yeah, and I'll be willing to admit it, but I'm saying it's just the way I see it with him.
All right.
Did Carlos Delgado waste his career?
No.
Carlos Delgado should be in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Just shy of 500 homers.
But he didn't win a World Series. You know, he bounced around and stuff. I'm just trying to.
You can't compare Jason Hayward to Carlos Delgado.
Listen,
but that's my point. Like, you know, like that's what you're saying.
Well, no, let's put it this way. If I were to put it out on a table and I would say to the Yankees, you could have prime Carlos Delgado or you could have prime Jason Hayward. Who are you taking?
Prime Rib.
You're taking Delgado.
I'm taking Aaron Judge.
We understand your argument.
But
by the way, this is now turned into a whole nother debate.
Because you're going to
get me on a Hall of Fame tangent that I really don't want to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. If World Series are a criteria for the Hall of Fame, it's the stupidest thing ever. I think all three of us are in agreement. Don Mattingly's a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
He never won. Keith Hernandez is the best defensive first baseman of all time. He won twice, and he's not in the damn Hall of Fame.
Which is a shame. But
the Hall of Fame, unless I give them this, the voters get it right most years, except for that one idiot who didn't vote for Derek Jeter. We need to start appreciating the older eras more, and we need to figure out why Mattingly and Keith Hernandez are not there.
I don't know, and I don't know why. The two players that Dan and I could both agree on at this point right now would be Hernandez and such forth that belong in the Hall of Fame. Mattingly, Donnie Baseball, and Delgado. Doesn't matter where they were, what they did. Both didn't win a ring in their time. Both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
A World Series ring is not a requirement to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Even individual accolades, MVPs, because I don't think Delgado won. I don't think Delgado won an MVP either. But still, it's mind boggling to me how we determine who is and who isn't a Hall of Famer. But again, I'm going to digress on the lightness of the tangent. Also, I don't know if you guys caught this yesterday during the Reds and the Red Sox game. Eugenio Suarez
Mm.
on consecutive pitches used the new ABS system on CB Buckner.
yeah.
And
No, I did
CB
not.
Buckner did not look too pleased. And CB Buckner was wrong on both calls.
That's the key.
It did
It's
not
a
make a difference.
problem,
Suarez wound up
bro.
grounding out, but
That's why this system is in place.
Yeah,
We saw it on opening day with the Mets. Freddie Peralta, cleanly there was a strike. I did not see the ones that Mike was talking about. I'll go back and look at
yeah.
them when I review. But in its early and limited time that it has been in the major leagues, it has made its worth and then some so far.
I mean, just to give you an idea before I show you how horrific the CB Buckner was against the Reds in terms of calls. Um, the the impact so far it's had on games. The Yankees, it was nothing, nothing. Um, Middle innings, Yankees Giants yesterday. Trent Grisham was up at the plate. He was called for strike three. It was like a 2-2 count. He was called for strike three. Um, Grisham challenged it. Grisham got it right. It was a ball. It was off, like by enough, and ended up winning the challenge, and then eventually got on base. Of course, Aaron Judge struck out the next at bat, but then you had Cody Bellinger, who got a base hit, and then of course you had Ben Rice, who doubled in both Grisham and Cody Bellinger. Can you imagine? There was already an out in the inning. Can you imagine if Grisham had struck out, didn't have the access to ABS? You would have had Grisham out, Judge struck out. It would have been 3 outs. Judge would have been up with nobody on and 2 outs. Instead, it was Judge with one runner on with 1 out. He ended up striking out, but the inning still continued. Bellinger was up. Ben Rice was then up, drove in both runs. Can you believe how much ABS? And that's just one example. I'm sure there's going to be way more examples coming
yeah.
throughout the season where we're going to see the impact of the automatic balls and strike calls and challenges. A 2-run swing just because of one ABS challenge. Wild.
Oh,
By the way, CB Buckner was horrible. I mean, 5 for 5, the Reds were with CB Buckner on ABS challenges.
What in the Angel Hernandez is going on?
It is brutal to watch. And look, he's a legendary umpire for the wrong reasons. It's
Yeah, he's
brutal to watch.
it's like Angel Hernandez.
By the way, I can't load the video, but you get my point. Like,
Yeah. No, look.
Mark, I'll send you the video. I'll send you a video later.
No,
it's horrific.
let me tell you, throughout playing baseball, even with these two guys who played a pretty good amount of their time, this to me is the greatest change since the designated hitter became in both leagues.
Mhm. And people so criticize the designated hitter coming to the National League. I don't understand why, but
We need Bartolo Colon to hit again. That's why.
Well,
Shout out Bartolo.
For your viewing pleasure, here's CB Buckner's just a horrific performance.
Challenge for Will Benson.
Really?
Powered by T-Mobile. Called a strike. He challenges again immediately.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
This is the other thing I like about it.
5 for 5 on challenges. And Will
That's horrible.
Called strike 3. Tap the helmet again. He says it's off the plate away.
I like the fact that they show us how far it is off.
Here we go.
Oh, God.
The loudest cheers of the game. The Reds have hit 2 homers. Come on, back-to-back challenges. Got him looking. Challenge. Immediate tap of the helmet. The Reds runners all hold.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. That's out of the zone. The AB continues on that right-hand side. It appears to be the toughest sun for Roman Anthony. We'll get a challenge here.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
He's so defeated each time they
That is out of the zone.
He's so defeated.
Batter's challenging the pitch.
By the way, you don't have to tell us. We know that they're challenging the pitch. You got to tell us when the team is challenging the play.
Unbelievable.
The tweet courtesy of Reds Daily and broadcast beat courtesy of Major League Baseball. I mean, it's horrible. God, the two on Gino were ridiculous. I mean, it wasn't even close.
The fact that they were 5 for 5
through 8 innings,
it's insane. Oh, CB. Maybe you need to listen, CB. No disrespect. Maybe you got to go to the eye doctor. Maybe you got to get the eyes checked, dude.
New line in Vegas coming out. How many ABS challenges will the umpires screw up?
Oh my God. Imagine they start using that. Vegas just goes, how many ABSs in this game?
Is it under 9?
All right. On to the series. I broke them up into weekend. For the week, we got the Pirates and the Reds. Like we said before, one of these two teams show us something. We got a battle of Bill Murphy's 2 favorite teams as the Red Sox go to Houston to play the Astros. Rangers, Orioles.
That's actually going to be a good series.
I'm interested in the Orioles early on. I want to see if the pitching can hold up.
That's going to be an interesting series.
Also, bad news on the Rangers front. Jacob deGrom was scratched from his start yesterday due to a stiff neck.
Stiff neck, which they're automatically you hear stiff neck, they're going to look at the shoulder.
which it's just sick. Shave
Can,
DeGrom.
can he get a break with these injuries? Like,
Right. Like, dude was so nasty.
Was.
Dan, the Yankees go to Seattle. They're going to play the Mariners this week.
yeah, it's a good test. Good Mariners are a good team. Uh, I know they lost to Cleveland last night, but no, they still play well. So, yeah, Yankees stay on the West Coast, and let's see if they can keep rolling their winning ways.
And then we got Giants Padres in the NL West. Both of them looking to get out of an early funk. The Padres beaten up by the Tigers, Giants by the Yankees. And the Guardians have the pleasure of going to LA and playing the Dodgers.
Nobody has the pleasure to go and play the Dodgers.
And then next weekend, the Mets will be in San Francisco for 4.
I hate the 4-game stretches, at least out west.
Dude, they got to go to St. Louis, San Francisco, come home. Then they got to go back to the West Coast, come home, go back to the West. It's so stupid. I wish they would just limit and be like, listen, get all the West Coast done at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Like do like a Grammy road trip like the Lakers do every year.
Yeah, 100% do it, get it over, or go there in the summertime when it's okay for me to stay up a little bit later. I'm cool with that. The Padres will go to Fenway to play the Red Sox. Speaking of Jason Hayward in the 2016 World Series, Cubs Guardians next weekend in Cleveland. The Braves go to the Diamondbacks, and the Orioles and the Pirates. 2 young teams, so see what happens there. Anything catch your eye over the next week?
With the season being so young, it's hard to say this is going to be the like. I agree with Dan that the Yankees Mariners is going to be a nice, interesting test to see what the Yankees can do. I like the Giants Padres series. It's a good opening divisional, round, as I believe the Dodgers had the Diamondbacks in the beginning. Um, it's a good set of tests for these teams. I think the Guardians are going to be a little bit scared of the Dodgers.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by this Yankee pitching rotation since they're on a 4-man rotation to start the year. So, I mean, so we're definitely going to be seeing Max Fried at some point in the Mariners series, which is what it's interesting. Yeah, that's
Was that
why.
just because Heel was bad in spring training?
No, there's a certain amount of days off that they have.
Okay.
That they think, okay, well, it's sort of equivalent to 5 days rest. And also, Luis Hill isn't quite ready yet.
Okay, so the Yankee home opener is Friday against the Marlins.
Yeah. No easy task. Marlins are a good young team, but I mean,
Marlins looking for the sweep today of the Rockies.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, but we can't be too emphatic about it. It's the Rockies.
Yeah, but this is the same Marlin team that beat up the Mets in September. So,
Fair enough.
give them a little bit of love.
All right, all right.
All right, all right, all right.
Were the Angels one of your games that you posted, Mike?
I did not talk Angels,
Oh, okay.
but they will be in Chicago. They'll play the Cubbies.
Okay.
Welcome back, Mike Trout.
Yeah, can we acknowledge that? I mean, it has been so wonderful to watch Mike Trout 1 hit home runs, 2 drive-in runs, and 3 reach base like 10 times. Like, God,
It's good to see that he's
healthy,
got.
Mike Trout.
Stay healthy, brother.
I'm glad to see he's out there looking like the Trout of old right now.
We need baseball needs Mike Trout to stay healthy. I need Mike Trout to stay healthy. The
I was about to
Angels
say
and
I
the,
need Mike Trout to stay healthy.
The Angels in the outfield need Mike Trout to stay healthy. Yeah. Another good one. Tigers, Diamondbacks, too.
Mm-hmm.
Diamondbacks need to get
Screwball
up.
had an amazing first game. So, Screwball Watch has officially started.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, also, Nationals, Phillies could mean something. Nationals.
Nationals
Yeah,
been
got a
putting
win on
runs on the
opening
board.
day.
They've been putting runs on the board.
Yeah. Very happy so far with how Blake Butera has, you know, got this team ready to go and competing. Again, the Cubs are a tough team, so the fact that they scored 10 runs on the Cubs in the first game is very impressive. Very impressive stuff. And of course, like, um, again, very competitive so far against Chicago. So I wouldn't be complaining if you're a Nats fan right now.
Mm. All right. One last thing before we call this. Shout out former Met and current Brave Dom Smith. I don't know if you guys saw this last night. He had a walk-off grand slam for the Braves against the Royals. I gave all the credit to his recently deceased mother. So
Yeah.
congratulations and condolences to Dom Smith and his family.
Yeah.
But that'll do for this edition of the Batter Up podcast, sponsored by the Dugout Millwood here on the Sports Insanity Network. We're live every Sunday, 10 a.m. Like, comment, subscribe here on the YouTube channel. Follow the socials, Twitter, S Insanity Real, Facebook, the Sports Insanity Network. Go to the website, thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Great blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Dan will be live tomorrow with Bill for SIP. And we'll see how the week goes and see what other stuff we got going on. But for Mark, Dan, I'm Mike. Have a good one, everyone. We'll talk to you next week.